Hello and welcome to another wonderful episode of the Filmmakers Podcast. It's a podcast where we talk filmmaking. From indie film to studio film and everything in between. How to get them made, how to make them, and how to try not to royally F them up, in a very humble opinion. I'm Giles Alderson. I'm still in Bulgaria at the moment, therefore I'm not available to do any of the interviews, though I have been doing some online. But these ones, we've let the lovely Dom Lenoir sit in with. So, strap yourselves in, because we've got a truly fascinating guest joining us. She is a filmmaker carving out her own distinctive path in the industry. And when your last name is Spielberg, there's naturally a certain legacy. But our guest today is a talented director and actor who's confidently stepping into her own light, proving her unique voice and vision. It is the fantastic Destry Allyn Spielberg. Yeah, she's here to talk about her brand new psychological thriller, her debut movie, Please Don't Feed the Children. Destry, you might know her from her acting roles and her memorable performance in Paul Thomas Anderson's critically acclaimed Licorice Pizza, as well as her work in the HBO limited series I Know This Much Is True, and she was also in the independent movie Mass Hysteria. But it's in the director's chair where she's really been making waves. Obviously, like her dad, Steven, she's demonstrated a keen eye for storytelling with her striking short films, Rosie, which she also acted in, and Let Me Go the Right Way. That premiered at Tribeca and earned her praise for its compelling narrative and performances, it says. Basically, we have discovered a filmmaker who's thoughtful, ambitious, and deeply committed to her own personal artistic journey. And when your dad is Steven Spielberg, it must influence you. How can it not? She's been on his sets since she was a wee little one. And now, like I say, she is joining us on the Filmmakers Podcast, well, I say us, Dom Lenoir, to talk about Please Don't Feed the Children, her psychological thriller. And this film is written by Paul Bettino, and it plunges us into a post-apocalyptic world where a deadly virus has targeted adults, leaving a group of orphans searching for safety. But their quest takes a dark turn when they're taken hostage by a woman hiding a sinister secret. The cinematography is handled by Shane Sigler, and look at this amazing cast. We've got Michelle Dockery from Downton Abbey in a quite uniquely villainous role, alongside the brilliant Giancarlo Esposito, you'll know him from Breaking Bad, and an amazing talented young ensemble including Zoe Colletti, Andrew Liner, Dean Scott Vasquez, Regan Elia, Emma Meisel, Joshua Melnick, and Vernon Davis. So, welcome onto the Filmmakers Podcast, Destry Allyn Spielberg, an exciting new voice who's building a remarkable body of work, who is standing on the shoulders of giants, but she is carving her career out on her own merits, and she's undeniably carrying that amazing, incredible filmmaking DNA. So, welcome everyone, let's get into it. Here is the wonderful Destry Allyn Spielberg.
Hi Destry, is that you?
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
Hello.
Hey,
Good.
Congratulations on the film.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm great. This is all very exciting.
You're battling traffic in America,
so
I'm guessing. Are you at the moment?
Yeah, we're in New York.
Okay, very cool. Yes, I've been doing the same in battling the London traffic, 'cause it's kind of a heat wave over here, so it's been pretty intense.
I really miss London a lot. I used to live in Shoreditch.
Ah, okay, yeah. I'm sort of more north, but it's when it's sunny and hot, it is beautiful here.
Oh, nice.
How are you finding New York at the moment?
Well, the weather's been not great, but it's about to get very, very, very hot. So we'll see.
Amazing. So, I mean, the film is fantastic, and this is your directorial debut, I believe. So, I mean, how are you feeling about the whole reception, getting into that sort of position where everyone's looking at it and giving feedback, and you're getting it out into the sort of big wide world? Like, what's that feeling been like for you?
I feel like I practiced this because I showed many versions to friends and family, like sort of within different cuts. And then, of course, we premiered at Sitges. So, I think now that it's truly going out to everybody, it's exciting. It's, of course, I'm going to be a little nervous, but that's humans.
It is, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you spend so long and you go through such an incredible kind of arduous journey getting a film made that when it's out there's kind of a relief, and it's nice to just see people hopefully laughing and immersed and entertained and kind of, getting involved in it. So, yeah, good time for that. So let's talk about the kind of the origins and how the concept and the writing and the idea and everything kind of kicked off in the first place for this.
Yeah. So my manager had approached me with the script in, I think it was December in 2021. And it was after my short film had done really well, and I was looking for my next feature, or just my first feature.
Yeah.
And I had put this script at the bottom of all the other scripts I was receiving just because it was kind of a true horror, and it had I'm not sure if I'm really supposed to say this, but it had like a zombie element or a virus element.
Yes.
And I did not want to make a movie like that. I just didn't. It wasn't something I wanted to do. And I wanted to keep an idea more real, because I think the realer something is, the more scary it can be. So, I went through a bunch of scripts that I read and nothing was really hitting. And then finally I had gotten to it, and it was like such a fast page turner. Like I could not get my eyes off of it. And I'm dyslexic and I'm a slow reader, so I take breaks.
Yeah.
And I just could not. It was like reading a really good book. And also I could see exactly how I would shoot it as I was reading it, which is like sort of a good sign for me when that happens.
Yeah.
And I called him up and I was like, well, yeah, this is it. Let's do this. Let's make this one.
What was it about the story elements? Because you said the sort of the horror and the zombie sort of side of things wasn't initially grabbing you. I mean, I feel like there's a great sort of drama movie here as well. And also you got some fairly sort of youthful characters, which is always like a great to get that kind of dynamic as well. So, I mean, what was it about the sort of the story elements that persuaded you to think, okay, yes, this is something I can connect with while still being in a genre I'm not necessarily like my favorite?
Yeah, totally. I would say that, I mean, listen, I think this was not, I wouldn't call it a risk. I think every filmmaker will make something different in their career. And I kind of approached this sort of like, I'm taking this on as a challenge of something different that I hadn't really felt I'd done before, but also knowing like, I'm going to try to make this as true to who I am as a director as possible. So, my goal wasn't to make it like extremely scary. I wasn't trying to make the Babadook. I wasn't trying to make, Hereditary. The story itself, to me, felt like Goonies meets Children of Men.
Yeah.
And Hansel and Gretel. So, what I loved about it was the psychological aspect, but what I also loved about it was sort of the theme of fear. And I was really excited to work with such young and new actors, which of course is very inspiring, and definitely on the creative side, it's extremely inspiring and fun. So going into it, I didn't have expectations like I'm going to make a horror film. I kind of went into it, sort of what my gut's telling me, what I see. Here's like the aesthetic. Here's, the kind of shots I want to work with. Here's, I make an entire deck before I do anything. So I already have like color palettes and, and specific angles, and I storyboard. So I wasn't, I wouldn't say I definitely wasn't nervous about approaching it because it was a horror, and I definitely approached it in the way that I wanted to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. And I love that you sort of mentioned the Goonies. I mean, that's one of my sort of favorite childhood experiences. And I love that it sort of brings a bit of that back. Like the childhood camaraderie, I think, is such a incredibly powerful like mechanism. And even though you've got the sort of horror wrapper and the genre, which is the kind of the world, it does feel like that's the kind of like cement that kind of holds the whole thing, together.
Yeah.
I mean, how did you even start to approach getting the right actors? Because I feel like with children acting, to get the right sort of dynamic and the group together, it's almost like heightened on top of like normal casting, right? In terms of getting it right.
Oh yeah. Well, with this project, we were able to get on a really amazing casting director, Annie McCarthy, who had, put together, like, I couldn't believe how many self-tapes we received. It was incredibly overwhelming and also very exciting because I think casting's one of my favorite things to go through. But as you were saying, it was so important to get the right group of kids together. And by the way, they're not, only one of them is really a kid, in terms of like under 18. The rest are, closer in age, I would say, with me.
Yeah.
But the process I went through was going through all the tapes, and really, like, I would go through every single one of them. I think I saw there were at least over like 300.
Wow.
It was wild.
That's
Yeah.
a lot.
And then I would narrow it down to my favorites, and then I would send in director's notes and have them tape again. And once I did that, I narrowed down to sort of my top 3 for each character. And instead of doing a callback where I had them read again for me, I met them first on a Zoom and kind of did a general. Because at the end of the day, like, you want to work with people that you get along with, that you can kind of get a sense of how they're going to be on set or how they approach their own friendships and their own life. And, are they going to be kind? Are they, are they going to be able to take direction? And so once I did that, I then had my director session where we actually did the scenes.
Yes.
And it was a really wonderful process. And, I definitely took my time. And we found a really great group of young, talented actors. We got very lucky.
Yeah. So I mean,
and they all got along, thank God.
Well, that helps. That certainly helps. I mean, what was it you were kind of, I mean, I think what you focused on there was like vitally important, especially with the group dynamic, is that everyone is easy to work with because there has to be that sort of connectedness and teamwork. And, when you're stuck on a set and you've got to be like a group dynamic, you can't have one person that's like, doesn't want to be there or is kind of being, more of a challenge. So that kind of makes a lot of sense in terms of getting a feel and sort of personalities and that kind of side of things. What was it you were maybe asking for on the director's note side? Like, what did you wanted to see from a performance standpoint when you were sort of casting to get an idea of what they could and couldn't do, or what you needed for certain characters?
Yeah, that's a great question. I take that part very seriously. When I go into the director session, first of all, with every audition I've ever done with another actor, I want to make sure that they feel safe to mess up, because at the end of the day, we're all going to mess up. Like, it's not, I went to acting school, so I know the approach to getting on set. You're 100% prepared, like you're ready to do anything. Yes, great, but you should also be ready to fumble. So I start every audition sort of like, let's just do this one over the top.
Okay.
Like, just go for it. Don't worry about messing up. If you mess up, like, I just want you to do it. We're not even going to record this one. I just want you to have fun and do it, and let's see what comes out of it, and then we'll go from there. And sometimes they would get like a little intimidated by that. And sometimes it was like, oh, great. Like, I could tell it was very like, kind of oh my God, like a relief for them. And also every actor is different. Some actors have a very specific way on how they want to be approached when being directed. And some actors are, they like way more direction. They like to play around and have those moments. So, once we would do that, then we'd reel it back, or it'd be like, you know what, I actually really liked what you did there. Now let's try this. So I played around with different emotions. A lot of the times I'll sort of reference to my actors to like whoever they're talking to in the scene. I'll give them different ways to approach that character. So either, oh, why don't you now just mess with him? Like, I just want you like just be super sarcastic. And then now, like, let's say you're really like, I want you to like hold everything back. You're not sharing anything with this person, but say your lines, but keep all your emotion. Like, it's good to play because then you know their range.
Yes.
Because range is important. And also it's really important that they're able to like switch.
Yeah. And I suppose you've done acting yourself and you kind of understand, because I mean, these kind of active tools are so important, as an actor, to have something that they're doing or trying to get from a scene rather than just being there. And I feel like that's like such an important part of making things feel alive and exciting. So I'm sure that sort of helped in the sort of building of all of that. Okay, so then the final choices, I guess, sort of down to intuition and starting to think, okay, this person might go well with this person and these kind of dynamics work well together. Was it that the kind of final decision process?
Yes and no. I would say based on how, because I wouldn't ever I wouldn't ever not give somebody a job because I didn't think that this person in real life would connect with this other actor. Because at the end of the day, like, acting is their job. Like, that is, they should be able to connect as their characters do. So what I'm really looking for is how are they approaching the character, and would these two characters and how they approach that work together within the film?
Yes.
Because some actors don't want to like hang out with other actors. Some actors really need their space, and you have to respect that because I get it.
Yeah.
Everyone has a different approach, and you can't force anyone out of their shell. I encourage it, but there's only so much I can do as a director to get everyone together. But at the end of the day, as long as the characters are getting along, that's all I care about.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because you have to sort of learn all these like minutiae of film set politics and just how people function. Because some people are energized by having hundreds of conversations in a day. Some people really aren't, and they need that time away. They need time to decompress, and then they can kind of explode on set. So it's very important to find those balances. So just in terms of like did you get any time to rehearse them for this? Was it sort of conversations about how you both saw the characters? Like, what was the pre-shoot sort of work with the younger actors, especially? Did you like to rehearse quite a lot or leave it quite fresh and open?
Yeah. We rehearsed over Zoom. And I would ask them, I would say, do you want to do one-on-one sessions? Would you like to do a group session? And I think we had maybe two group sessions. And then I kind of had them approach me. I was like, if you want to work with me one-on-one, you're more than welcome to. So some of the actors really enjoyed that and wanted to do that. So I had a lot of sessions with Dean Vasquez, which was great. And then I had a lot of sessions with Josh Melnick, which was also great because it was more in person because he's also based in New York. Which on top of that, we were able to build friendships, working friendships, which is great. Because then once you're on set, I just care that everyone feels comfortable. And it's like going to a new school. You want to kind of know somebody there so you can feel like you have someone to go to or talk to or just like sit with. So I try to get everyone to bond.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's it, isn't it? But going back to what you're saying about failure as well, if everyone feels like they've got each other's backs, you're much more likely to do something like unusual, like an interesting choice or something obscure or something a bit wacky, and that might be the kind of magic that you don't expect. So let's talk a little bit about the other actors. Obviously, you've got Giancarlo Esposito and Michelle Dockery. And I'm guessing that obviously you want some actors that are unknowns and more known and well known, and there's obviously the sort of the sales side of things and piecing together things from a finance point of view. So what was the process in terms of those two and some of the other sort of adult supporting cast, and how you approached that, and what sort of point did they come on board?
The kids were cast first.
Mm-hmm.
And then Michelle Dockery came on after we cast all the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I call them kids, even though they're adults now.
Yeah, screen kids.
Screen kids.
Yeah.
So we had sent the script and an offer, just kind of how it goes. And we had met over Zoom because she was in London and I was in New York. Mm-hmm. And we just really clicked. And also what I really loved about her was she really wanted to support, female directors, and she wanted to support me as a new director. And we just really bonded, and her approach to the work was collaborative, which I respect.
Mm-hmm.
And of course I also encourage.
Yeah.
And she just had this joy and excitement about her. And it was really, we just got so lucky. It's not every day an actor will take a chance on a first-time feature film director.
Yeah, definitely.
And on top of that, with us, it wasn't a large budget,
mm-hmm.
and we didn't have a lot of days to film it. In fact, we only had 18. And so, she, which by the way, this is why I think English actors are so awesome, because they come prepared. You don't have to, because you kind of have to treat it like a play.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, great, I can do that. I was like,
yeah.
Great, perfect. And then so then she came on, which was like, thank God, because that's how you greenlight a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Giancarlo came on. Him and my manager, he's also with my manager who was also producing it.
Yeah.
And we had spoken again over Zoom, and we had just gone over the script together, and he was, it was kind of like he was offering his thoughts on the script. And so we were like, great.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll make some changes.
Yeah.
Very minor things, just, for his character. And he's so smart, by the way.
Yeah.
He's like,
you can kind of tell, can't you? You can just tell.
God.
He's like super, super calculated and like thinking every angle.
I mean, he can lead a room. Like, you just sit back and you're like, this is why it's so great working with seasoned actors.
Yeah.
Because you get to do your job seamlessly. And also they're, they care about acting and they care about their job. So they don't make it intimidating to approach them with notes, because they know that that's their job and that's what they do and that's what they love to do. So they really, it was an honor to work with both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, and they gave amazing performances alongside the children. It's lovely to sort of see those, not sort of on an age sort of point of view, but that sort of grandfather, grandmother, when you get like these really experienced actors or like really seasoned crew, they sort of bring that energy to set where everyone just sort of feels like they're already at home, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So going back to the visual side, you talked a little bit about mood boards. I mean, it would be great to know the background about that, because obviously, I mean, it starts off and there's some lovely sort of crane shots, which sort of a bit Spielberg-y in a sense, but obviously you're trying to do something that's also completely new to you and set your own mark. So like, I mean, what sort of went into the setting of the visuals, the tone and the camera work sort of in that framework, I guess?
Yeah. Well, my DP and I, who Shane Siegler, he's incredible. We had loads of time together prior, prepping for this. We had, we would go into the office every day, and I would come in because I storyboard everything. So before I even met him, I had storyboards. And again, like kind of how when I read a script, I just see it I don't even know how to explain it. I just see it. Like it's like
visual.
It's like My Shining.
Yeah.
It's like I can I can watch the movie in my head, and I would draw them out, and then I met with him and we went over specific scenes and how many shots we want in those scenes and just all the basics, yada yada. But I created an entire mood board with, of course, references from, other movies and shots, and that's why shot deck is the greatest thing on planet Earth. Really great for directors.
Yeah.
And then, of course, with shots that I couldn't find, I would draw. But that was really the process together. We would, Shane Siegler is very informative. He taught me a lot. He would reference movies and, older movies that I hadn't even heard of, which I really respected, because anyone can, go through a movie list and then pick something that is like, oh, of course.
Yeah.
Like,
this genre
like you
for
said,
this
like
movie, let's do that sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I don't want to copy anything. So if I'm inspired, I'll want to find a way to approach that idea in a different form. But then when I'm on set, we don't watch movies. The only kind of movies I'll watch on set are animation.
Right.
Because doesn't count. It's not.
Yeah. Yeah. You're focused on your movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Because then you can get inspired, then you could, see a completely different tone, and then you don't want to go in that direction. So yeah, the process together was very collaborative with me and the DP.
Yeah, amazing. And
Zootopia 2 has come home to Disney Plus.
Let's go!
Get ready for a new case.
We're gonna crack this case and prove we're the greatest partners of all time!
New friends.
You are...
Gary the Snake.
And your last name?
The Snake.
Dream Team. And new habitats.
Zootopia has a secret reptile population.
You can watch the record-breaking phenomenon at home.
You're clearly working at
Zootopia 2. Now available on Disney Plus, rated PG.
So just sort of going back to getting set for shooting. You obviously shot shorts before. What was it like sort of jumping into a feature film that has some fairly sort of challenging elements to contend with? It's on a bigger scale, obviously. The budget's bigger. We've talked about sort of bigger actors. Like, what was the sort of the mental process in terms of like getting ready for that? I mean, it sounds like you were very well prepared as a sort of on the acting and the visual side, but how was it actually going into it?
Honestly, I think, there was a lot of, of course, with any indie film, there's a lot of ups and downs. We had, at one point we were going to shoot, I believe it was March of 2023. And then we had lost, financing.
Yeah. Which happens.
And so then we had to go dark. And so we went dark until basically, I guess until October, until we actually went back. And that was really, truly one of the biggest learning curves for me was that even if you have locked in financing, people can pull out.
Yeah.
Or, the economy can crash.
Yeah.
And then, or
both.
or both. Or tariffs, God forbid.
Yes.
So there's a lot of things that can go into play where it can really mess with the schedule. I mean, it could even just be locations. You could lose your location, or another film that was scheduled there during your new time. Now you can't use that location. You got to start all over again. So, I think when you're doing a short film, it's definitely more packaged.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say it's easier, and I wouldn't say it's harder. I would say a feature-length film, there's more time for error to happen.
Yeah.
And there's more time to get to sort of become disorganized.
Yes. Yeah.
And you're relying on, producers, you're relying on your financiers, you're really putting something that you've created in the hands of other people along with yourself. So it's a big learning experience with trust. It's a big learning experience with being patient.
Yeah.
And also just really taking on every challenge and just pushing forth. I mean,
That's what you can do.
It was. Listen, we did it.
Yeah, you did.
It
You did. I mean,
happened.
congratulations. I mean, it's. I
Thank
mean,
you.
like I mean, the things you were saying, like I've had that happen. I've had like a movie like finance like a week before pull out that was
Yes.
supposed to be locked
By the way,
in.
that's always how it happens.
Yeah.
Why is it always last minute?
Well, it is baffling, isn't it? And you know, locations as well. And it's such a stressful thing to be part of. And I feel like people assume that movies that are sort of semi-established or established people, it doesn't happen. But it happens like at all levels of the industry. You know, right from the smallest indie up to the biggest things. There can just be these complete uncertainties and chaos. And I guess you just have to sort of keep sort of going through it.
If this job was easy and if it was seamless, it would be so boring.
Yeah. Yes.
Like that's I think I feel like it's
The stress
like-
is exhilarating.
yeah. I mean, it ages me a little bit.
Yeah. So I mean, what were some of the more difficult bits? Oh, sorry, is Jenna just checking? Jennifer's not messaging. Yeah, cool. Yeah, what were some of the most difficult bits actually on the set in terms of like maybe scenes that were more complicated than you thought or didn't go as you initially imagined? Those kinds of things.
I mean, there were plenty of days that were difficult. In the first week, we were a day behind because
Wow.
for some reason we had a very, 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 very challenging kind of a one shot, one take segment.
Right.
It had a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where we had A and B cam, and when you're looking at the monitor, is like you want to be able to focus on one, but you kind of are like this.
Yes.
And then,
Yeah.
they say, oh, focus on A cam, focus on A cam. But then I'm seeing things in B cam that I really like. And everyone's performances are great. But then there's just this one thing that we need to go back and do one more time. So we had focused a lot on that. And then we look at the clock. It's like, oh my God, we have now this much time to get this shot done.
Yeah.
And while they're setting up, I'm realizing that everyone's going outside. And in my head, I'm like, wait, we're not going outside right now. We have to go to this room. And then there was a mistake on the call sheet. So that messed us up for a day.
Yeah.
So then, we had to figure out how to put 2 days work into one because we didn't have any extra days.
Yeah. That's often the way in indie. You don't have that leeway and those kind of special, oh, we'll just do it another day. Like if you don't get it, you kind of have to either sacrifice something or put something else into it.
Yeah.
But I think you did a fantastic sort of job on this. And it's, it's a really sort of charming and tense psychological movie. And it's captivating and it's got that nice kind of camaraderie between all the characters for sure. We've got to wrap up fairly soon. Just as if you don't mind, just as a sort of hark back to, obviously, Steven's your dad, and I was trying to not go too much into it because you've obviously done all of this on your own and it's your own kind of vision. But it would just be lovely to know a little bit about maybe a couple of things growing up that have maybe you influenced from that side, or sort of going into this from a filmmaking perspective. Yeah.
I grew up on sets. Even though it wasn't something that I initially thought I was going to do, I was surrounded by it. I mean, I even like sort of when I was saying before, I had my first film, I stepped on set and it was it was a weird sort of like, it was second nature almost. And I hadn't really thought that directing was going to be something that I would ever want to do. So I'm really grateful that he introduced us to this world because it is magical.
Yeah.
I mean, movies are magic. I learned so much from just sitting there watching him direct. And of course, listen, I think, before you had mentioned the idea sort of that there maybe were some similarities to Spielberg. I'm inspired by so many directors, including Spielberg.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you not?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And I think, in a way, while, of course, doing this, on my own, of course, the name can open a door, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm gonna walk through it.
Yeah.
And, you kind of get that, you realize that, and then you have to do the rest on your own. Of course, it's really nice to have knowledge that you didn't really even realize you had.
Yeah.
It's like second nature. It's like if you're, it's what, nature versus nurture. It's everything you're surrounded by.
Yeah,
like a language.
I think it's what you said there. I really liked was about the immersion, because I mean, like I grew up on Spielberg, I grew up on Star Wars, I grew up on all these like charming sort of movies, and that really influenced me. And it was like a diet that I absorbed, and I feel like it does go into like how you work when you do sort of go into directing and writing, and it's just there in the background. It's like it's like you've been nourished with great influences.
Yeah.
So I think that was a really great way of covering that. Just to finish as a last question, if you had any advice to give yourself, maybe starting out or before you're about to shoot this movie, what might that be? Just some like starting out as a filmmaker, doing their first feature or whatever you can think of.
I would say the advice I would give myself is don't rush, don't expect everything to hit every mark in terms of timing and schedule.
Right.
Because you get a movie and then you're so excited, and then 3 years go by and you're like, we haven't even shot it yet. I think in my head, I thought, you get the movie, get the job, and you do it. But just to like sit back, enjoy the ride, learn everything you can, take every challenge as a gift, and just be patient.
That's a good one. Be patient. Yeah, lovely advice. And congratulations on Please Don't Feed the Children. It's been lovely to chat, and we'll catch you on the other side.
Thank you so much.
Good luck with the movie.
Thank you.